Tashdile, and welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly feature in English about this week's news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines first. I am looking forward to another 15-20 years, says His Holiness the Dalai Lama. From Jerusalem, leader in exile says, next year in Tibet. CTA President speaks with Israel Broadcasting Corporation. Will Xi Jinping's book find readers among China's ethnic minorities? His Holiness the Dalai Lama spoke on happiness and its causes to a group at the International Convention Centre in Sydney, Australia, through the live teleconference from Dharamshala on Monday this week. His Holiness said that he is now 83 years and is looking forward for another 15 to 20 years. The teleconference contained a series of questions regarding Tibet conflicts, Donald Trump, the Dalai Lama's commitments and his valuable mistakes.
A question from our audience, Your Holiness, is what has been your most valuable mistake? What was the lesson it created for you?
Mistake?
What has been your most valuable mistake?
I feel not, I think, a major mistake, I feel. I think at age 16, I took the responsibility. I think people asked me, the then Tibet situation became very delicate, difficult. So regent, also they asked me, now time come, I should take responsibility. The previous Dalai Lama, I think when his age 18, he took the responsibility. In my case, 16, then I told them, now, previous Dalai Lama, my age reached 18, then I according past sort of past example or tradition, then I take. So 16 too early, but the circumstances force on me, I should take. So in a way, I lost my own freedom. Then 24-year-old, I lost my own country. There are a lot of problems, but I think during those difficult periods, now I look back, no major mistake. I think all my sort of, also the major decision is eventually, it just seems to become very correct, like that. While my old sort of official, till Cultural Revolution happened, he told me, after Cultural Revolution, he told me, now he believes my decision, 59, escape from Lhasa, become correct. Before that, he little bit sort of dilemma. If Dalai Lama still remain in Lhasa, maybe better. After Cultural Revolution, then he full conviction. Now our decision left Lhasa is very correct, like that. So long run, all my major decision become very correct. Nowadays, since 2001, I already achieved elected political leadership. Then next 10 years, I remain like semi-retired position. Then 2011, I totally sort of retired.
The Tibetan spiritual leader also spoke about the importance of the Tibetan language. CTA President Dr. Lobsang Singye spoke on the Jerusalem Post at the end of his 5-day trip to the Jewish state Israel. Inspired by the Jewish nation's return to their homeland, Dr. Singye said, "We always look for hope. If the Jewish people can do it, we Tibetans should also be able to do it too. Like the Jews, the Tibetans have also struggled to maintain the identity and culture in their diaspora." Dr. Singye further said that the Tibetan people would want to see their spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, back in the capital city of Tibet, the land of God.
I would like to see the government leaders and people of Israel to support the middle way policy of the Tibetan people, which is to seek genuine autonomy within China, within the framework of the Chinese constitution.
Dr. Lobsang Singye was featured in a special interview with host Yaakov Ahimer of Israel Broadcasting Corporation during his visit to Jerusalem.
Can you tell us about the situation in Tibet?
It's more difficult to go to Tibet than North Korea. Tibetan language as a medium of instruction is not allowed. What we pursue is a non-violent process, and what we ask for, genuine autonomy, it's legal as per the Constitution of China. So the Israeli leaders should not have any hesitation in supporting middle way approach and a non-violent approach.
What can you advise the Israeli tourist before he goes to Tibet?
If you go through a Chinese travel agency, if you are taken around by a Chinese tour guide, if you stay in Chinese hotel, and if you eat in Chinese restaurant, then you won't say anything. Might as well stay in Israel. But if you stay in a Tibetan hotel, eat in Tibetan restaurant, if you're shown around by Tibetan tour guides, then maybe you will see something about Tibet. They will say, oh, Tibetans are so happy, Tibet is a socialist paradise, Tibetans are master of their own region. They will say all that, but the reality is not true.
China should not force its ethnic minorities to read Xi Jinping's books, writes Jambal Shonu, editor of Tibet.net. He says Chinese authorities' plans to translate Xi Jinping's book, The Governance of China, into Tibetan and other ethnic minority languages is an attempt to perpetuate the personality cult around President Xi Jinping and to legitimize the constitutional amendment to make himself president. The people in these minority regions live under strict restrictions on every aspect of life, from religious freedom and human rights to language degradation and cultural assimilation. Amid such a scenario, the emphasis and the importance attached to such propaganda work by the Chinese Communist Party is self-defeating and painfully short-sighted, he said. Instead, he explains that China should make genuine efforts to address the legitimate and genuine grievances of the Tibetan people and other minorities rather than imposing official narratives into their minds to fulfill its short-sighted political goals. Such schematic and shallow efforts will not find its footing, and likewise, Xi Jinping's book will not find readers among China's ethnic minorities, he opined. So much for this week. See you next time and have a great weekend.